because I just want to start off the podcast. Like, regardless, we're just going to freestyle right now, even though we're going to have the intro and everything.
No. She said, are we pre-recording this or is this live?
I mean, it's literally going to happen live, essentially, but... It's a pre-record, yeah. Here we go. Hey. Feeling good, man.
Hoping my MacBook doesn't die.
Plug it in, bro.
I did.
Yeah, I'm getting my notebook ready because I'm going to be taking hella notes. I actually have questions to ask her, like actual questions that I want to know the answers to, so. And hopefully she can give us some insight too, you know? I think it's going to be really fun. I'm looking forward to these two meetings, man. Both of them are application meetings. So I have both applications actually in my Gmail right now for both meetings.
Yeah.
The first meeting, the guy really isn't that good of a fit. I'm going to get on a 15-minute triage call with him. So I'm going to, you know, qualify immediately, see what's going on, get the gist of everything. And if it makes sense, then obviously I'm going to have him move forward. But if it doesn't, I'm just going to leave it to the side and, you know, send him something to do homework on. The second guy, however, is actually in the perfect position to go ahead and do something. I went over his application just last night. And he's doing roughly 3K a month in business right now, and he wants to go to 8K. And I was like, yo, if you want a consistent 8K, like, I can charge you, like, easy 5K for that to teach you how to get to consistent 8Ks. So, looking forward to that call.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I have my productivity book out too, so I'm literally just following the productivity book.
Yeah.
See?
Okay.
All that stuff. How's my mic volume, by the way?
That's fine.
Perfect. Yeah, I had to put on the lighting, bro. Like, I had to use my camera. I didn't, my capture device didn't come in yet. So the camera that I actually bought, I can't use yet for videos right now and stuff. So this is actually my webcam. And all I did was, like, I changed the lighting. I changed some of the settings and shit. How does it look, my friend?
Good.
Yeah, thank you. Perfect. We can put this on YouTube too, by the way, as like a long form podcast. Hey, there she is. Well, look who we got. I'm so excited for this. You have no idea.
You are?
Yes, of course.
Hey.
What's going on?
I was just like literally thinking about you last night. I was like, dang, I literally missed this woman. I wish I was back at the gathering.
That energy in the room there was like sick. So
Dude.
good.
Tell me,
Like,
what are you having?
buzzing. You know, I drink this thing every day. I've drank it for 3 years, and it wakes up your brain like crystal clear, insane.
Write it down.
Yeah, I know, right? Write it down right now.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it. I'll send you a link to it. It's mostly B vitamins though, but methylated. Because did you know that like 30 to 40% of the U.S. population cannot process B vitamins?
I did not.
Yep,
Whoa.
unless they're methylated.
Wow.
Syndrome ain't doing squat. Sorry.
So just so you know, we're already recording. I'm just gonna run the intro. Is that cool?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. You're gonna hear some music. I also got your favorite song on here as well.
A full vibe.
Yes. So we're gonna do it right now. Welcome to the Marketing Warriors podcast. I appreciate you guys taking out the time to come on the podcast with us. We have a very special guest on the show right now. For those of you that don't know who this is, or you're living under a rock or something, like seriously, you got to do some research, my man. So she started off in the cosmetic space as a celebrity makeup artist, actually. She styled hair and makeup for over 70 high-profile people. She's helped raise over $112,000 for sex trafficking, by the way. Bro, like I wish I could do that right now. Seriously, that's goals for real. She has went ahead and done makeup for Elon Musk, the founders of IG, Facebook, Twitter. We're talking high profile people, man. Like, I can't even imagine. And she's also a business consultant, which is phenomenal. She operates under XMH Beauty, which obviously I can tell based off, all of your grandioseness, why you love beauty so much. It rubs off. And she's great at video content creation, guys. I've actually personally taken quite a few notes from her. Like, I've actually dissected her videos myself. She has some great advice on that kind of stuff. I want to welcome onto the podcast Xtina Harmsworth. Bring her on, man. Bring her on. There she is. Hell yeah. That's how we do it. I freaking love it. How was your Monday, by the way?
My Monday was delicious.
Was it? Did you get time to actually like reflect on October and stuff and then make your week?
So the reflection, we had like a 4-hour drive on the way back from Nashville. So that was like its own energy field. The Land Rover.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've reviewed my notes from that event so many times. It's something that it's a personal practice of mine. If something's like huge for me, I just keep it in the notes in my phone because it's just, palm access. So I've looked over that stuff so much. It was an amazing experience.
Right. And we were talking about the same thing. Like when we came back here to Jersey and we got in the car and everything with my brother and whatnot, we were immediately like texting one another. He's in the back seat and I'm in the front seat. I'm like, yo, there's something wrong right now. Energy's not right. The universe is not.
Was like so different because like when we're in Nashville, we're surrounded by high-level thinkers, people who are growing every single day. And then you go back, you sit in a car, and you're like, wait a second, it doesn't feel the same. And
why didn't it feel the same though? Like that's my like question. When you guys posted about that, like my heart, I was like, oh my God. Like I feel it, I understand, but like, why do you think it felt so different?
It was more because like, I think when we were in Nashville, like we didn't care what time we slept. We didn't care what time we woke up. We were there to be there. We were there to learn. We were there to make connections. We were there to grow. And when we got back to Jersey, it just wasn't the same, right? There's like, okay, where do we go for growth? Where do we go for talking to people? Because there's so many people, so many connections to make, something to look forward to, And that just wasn't there. I'm like, even like we would go home and I've been like doing 75 hard and whatnot. And, I have to work out, drink water and whatnot.
You're
So
doing that?
like, so today's day 64. And so
Look at this
like,
guy.
so yeah, so like do that, but then like the energy, the motivation, the drive we didn't lose it. We'd go to sleep at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, wake up at 6. I had to get a workout in because if I went to the gathering all the way till 8, I'll know I'll be there and I'll screw my 75 hard up. So I had to wake up at that point, get a workout in, come to the gathering, do that. And that's the whole thing.
If I may add on to that, like, I feel like it's a sense of responsibility, like knowing that there's nobody around to actually, you know, number one, make you food, number two, wake you up or do any of that kind of stuff. Like at home right now, literally I live with my parents, right? So we're always thinking to ourselves, oh yeah, parents are here, you know, this, that, and the third, but actually picking up that sense of responsibility for yourself is completely different. You get to wake up on your own times. You get to set the schedule for the day. You literally have that freedom, which I really loved. And I love my parents, you know. Chris even told us, he was like, yo, move out. Like, I'm literally thinking about doing this. I'm not kidding. So just having that behind us, I think was the fuel and the driver for we got to get shit done because we have things to do throughout the day and places to show up at. And I think that's probably the most important thing that was like a small shift for us.
Dude, was this like your first, because this is a massive thing for your audience, those of you who, you know, are listening in today, you guys are getting a podcast from these two young men who they were literally the youngest people in the room at this completely dope, high level, intense meeting of the minds for business people. So like, I have to ask you, was this your first like big gathering of something like this?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
That was the first thing ever.
Whoa. You guys started at the flipping top.
Yeah. So I think like I think like it's just how we worked it out. Like I started my first business when I was 16. Complete fail, by the way. Complete fail.
What was it?
But e-com products. I used to ship products from China. It was I'm a big fan of Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super, like all this card. I'm a big fan. I even like collect cards till this day. And I started selling their merch. And that was that. And then like I remember sitting in a lunch in high school. I'm a sophomore and I get 2 sales and I'm up on my seat. I'm like, yo, what?
The moment you got the bug.
Yeah.
Like,
I want to ask you, like,
now.
I never found out, Xtina, like, what got you into entrepreneurship or like building your own business?
You know, I love money.
There you go.
Damn straight, bro.
I started making like actual cash, like bills that you hold in your hand when I was a kid. Pretty young. I think I was like 11 or 12. And we had this, you know, the newspaper that people used to like throw it at people's patios.
Oh, yeah.
The newspaper. So our newspaper girl, she was a young mom with 3 kids, and she would pull her kids behind her in the wagon delivering newspapers. And like, you could tell, like those kids were driving her insane. And I was 11 at the time, and she was like, hey, want to babysit my kids sometime? And my mom was standing there, and I'm looking at my mom, I'm like, yes. And like, my mom would just send me to this lady's house. Some crazy stuff was happening at the house. That's all I got to say, but my mom didn't know about it. And I would go there from Friday night until Sunday afternoon, and the lady would give me $40 when I was 11. Like, this was in the 90s. That was big money. I could buy like 3 CDs.
Now it's like the world we live in. Like in our perspective, when people tell us like 3 CDs, we're like, wait, a USB?
Exactly.
Like, I used to play a lot of CD games.
Yeah, I know.
Downloading 3 full albums on iTunes or something. Anyways. Yeah. And ever since then, I knew the feeling of having cash in my hand. I knew the feeling of like being trusted by people to make sure that things happened, and that energetic exchange, getting cash for it. And it's just followed me my whole life.
Right. So like me and Quinnen kind of like drifted off into the same kind of format when we first found out we could actually earn an income online. Literally, he had his e-commerce stores. I think he was running like 3 at the time. And they were easily earning like 3 to 4K, 5K monthly off those e-com stores. And then like, I remember my own first e-com store and getting that first sale too, just like immediately ding. And I'm like, oh shit, I can make money online. Like what? and just going to town with the money that you make off them. You're just like, you don't know what to do with it, because now that you have like things coming in, you don't know where to allot the money to, especially when you don't know, like, okay, this is where I probably should be putting my money instead of spending it on this stuff.
Yeah, when you're a 17-year-old kid with a couple $1,000s on him, he goes.
Yeah, that's
Let's just
that's
say
bad.
that.
What did you buy?
Oh, you have like, okay, I like, are you familiar with Death by a Thousand Cuts?
No, bro. What is
Okay.
that?
So, okay, it's literally the small. So, like, you know how people ask, where does my money go? And what happens is people don't realize they spend 5 here, 10 here, 15 here, 40 there, 30 here, boom, 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 boom. And then they look back, they're like, whoa, where? And that's Death by a Thousand Cuts. Small little cuts, but it's like, it adds
It adds up.
So, I don't know, clothes, books,
Shoes.
everything. Like,
Literally, I was buying Yeezys back in the day. We're just like Yeezy after this, that, and the third.
You were not.
Jumanji.
Oh my God.
yeah, but then like we're like, wait, how do we take care of the business?
Yeah. Had to
So
get a
how did
priority straight.
How did that flip for you? Because you guys are like teenagers. You're pulling in some bank and you're spending it on random crap. When did you go like, wait a second?
So I'll tell you, because this kept happening like a yo-yo effect, and we were like, what the heck are we doing? Like, we need money for the business so the business can grow, not just take it for ourselves and go party and spend it all on ourselves. Like, I love the word, that delayed gratification, so like just having that and putting it into the business, so later on it can grow and grow and grow, and then after a certain time you can go ahead and reward yourself for the work you've put in, for what you've done. So him and I, we've been working together for about a year, I'd say. So
Year and a half, like 2 years almost. Yeah.
How did you guys meet?
We're cousins.
Well, we're actually cousins, but
I had no idea.
What, really? Wow.
Yeah. Okay. That's amazing.
Yeah, he was on mostly the ad side of
So-
things. He had his own like agency going for himself. I was actually in college. He dropped out of high school to go ahead and pursue e-commerce and his agency and everything. So, bro, kudos to him, man. He beat us early, But for me, I actually dropped out of college to pursue business. But the week when I dropped out, actually, I created a one-page business plan for the entire year. I actually have my newest one on my wall, too, for 2020. I do it every single year. So I created a one-page business plan, and I was like, all right, this is what I want to do. And that week I dropped out of college, like, just gone. And do consider the background that we are from. Like, really, we're from parents from the Middle East. Dropping out of college is like, you're not worth a damn thing. you
Are
are
you
useless. Yes.
How did they take it?
Listen, my mom wanted me to be a doctor. Are you kidding me? And I'm sitting here like, yeah, mom, I got this.
My parents are kind of chill. My mom
Yeah.
is like very supportive. My dad, but mom is very supportive with, like, just do whatever you want, whatever you love, as long as you're successful.
Yeah, I gave them like an ultimatum when I dropped out. I was like, yo, listen, there's two options right now. Either you support me and we live a happy life together, we can do everything, or you don't. I move out and I start living my own life and get a job and do what I want to do. Because, go ahead.
So wait, your parents were actually motivated by you staying?
Yeah, just about.
This is so backwards from
Yeah,
how I grew up anyways. My parents were like, you're moving out? Sweet.
Yeah, what? That's crazy.
Well, and like the Middle Eastern families, like, they don't really let the kids move out until they're like 26. Like, I remember, like, when first, like, by the way, I came to this country when I was 11. I didn't know English, not a damn thing. Even the water I tasted was different. So
Okay. I'm a water fanatic. How was the water different? Please tell me.
if you, I don't know if you
There
travel,
is a
but
big
if you
difference.
travel to some countries and you taste the water, it's actually a little different if you try to notice it. Like, this tastes different. And then, like, I'm sitting in the back seat, and one of my uncles like, dude, everything here tastes different. I'm like, all right.
Dude, one of my girlfriends just moved down here from like the middle of Canada.
Yeah.
And she calls it like farm water. And it was
Yeah.
the water that came out of her well in her yard in Canada. And she brought it in glass jars. The first night that they came over when they moved here, I was like, "Do you want some water?" And she's like, "No, I have my special farm water. I have like 2 jars left." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" We poured some of that water like it was like a delicacy, like into special cups. And I was like, "I have to taste this water." I swear the water was thicker. It tasted sweeter. And it was like an experience. I get it. I
I have a
feel you.
question for you.
Yes.
Have you ever had well water?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, well water in Pakistan, like where we're from, it's so common. Like you literally go out and you could take like a canteen and you can pump like through a lever and like well water comes out and you can put it into your canteen and everything.
Does
It's
it
so
taste good?
nice. Dude, it's so cold, like ice cold, because it's coming from the mountains and everything. It's so awesome, actually.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah. So I
Question.
do have a question for Xtina.
Yeah.
How'd you get into this cosmetic beauty stuff? When'd you get in? How'd you get in? And how'd you even come up to like now coming up to like building a 7-figure brand and everything else?
Okay, so like when I was probably 15 years old, I was smart in school. Like I could make A's in all my classes, but I didn't want to.
Hmm.
Like I lost the motivation and the drive. I didn't like being there, like at high school. And so I started failing classes.
I can
And my
relate.
parents,
Right?
and my parents, well, my mom basically was like, well, both my parents, they were paying tuition for me to go to this private school. And I remember it being like $3,000 a year or something. And I just felt really horrible that I was like getting a D minus when my parents were paying all this money. And somebody came to our school and they were like, "Hey, we offer a trade school option. So you would go to like maybe 3 or 4 high school classes in the morning, and then you can leave campus and go learn like a skilled trade." And they said hair school was an option. And I was like, check the box, get me out of here. I went home. I was like, "Mom, you can stop paying tuition. I'm going to go to public school. I'm going to get my little 3 classes in the morning. I swear I'll graduate high school." And I did it. So it was another one of those pieces where I was already interested in hair and makeup. I loved it. It was a vibe. I was already doing it anyway since I was like 14. People, like my friends' parents, would drop them off at my house on the weekends. And I had converted my my childhood bedroom into like a micro hair studio. So
Yo, that's
I know,
sick.
seriously,
Actually.
very entrepreneurial. Like my whole, I would say like my whole high school bedroom, I had taken like pictures from high end like magazines, like, obviously things like Vogue, but all these pictures that were my dream life. It was runway stuff. It was like high vibe makeup, people on yachts, like all these crazy things. And it was like a wallpaper around my room. I had collaged it. And then I had mirrors everywhere and candles going and like a bar stool chair facing the mirror. And my friends, their parents would pay me on the weekends. They would like drop my friends off at my house and I would do their highlights, cut their hair, do their makeup, whatever. And I was pulling in on the weekends like $300 cash in high school. And I was
Yo,
like,
that's actually
what?
lit. We did the same thing when it came to weekends on during high school too. Instead of like getting jobs, we would go out and wash cars all the time, or we would go out thrift shopping. Like literally, I used to thrift shop back in the day to get like some cash on our hands and stuff like that. Like just doing the
Yeah.
same thing.
It was such a feeling, like going to prom and stuff. Like I think I went to maybe like one, but for the most part I would just book out my whole day with like hair and makeup appointments and then take all the money and like go hang out. Like I didn't really want to go to prom. I just wanted to make all the money.
Yeah.
Yo, I freaking love that.
I was like that, bro. And then once I had my license to practice, the thing about cosmetology that's dope is like you get like this one certification or licensure and it covers everything. So it covers makeup and manicuring and like hairstyling and like facials,
Mm.
eyebrows, everything, barbering. It's like all wrapped into one certification. So I had that and kind of like the life that I had in all those pictures on my wall became my reality.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That's
yo, hold
deep.
on. Yo,
You gotta drop.
yo, dude, like, you gotta listen to what she just said, bro. You have to listen to what she just said. What she was looking at, what she had built for herself was becoming her reality. And because she had changed her environment, she had changed her reality as a becoming. I'm actually writing this down.
Like I didn't realize what I was doing back then. It was just, I was always different. Like in high school, if you were to ask the people that know me since high school, like I don't consider myself that I was like popular by any means. And it was boring to me. I hated high school. I've just felt so different. But I would go home and like turn
Dude, so
on music.
relatable.
What's that?
So relatable.
Right. Like I would go home after school and I always had a job in high school, but in my free time, like I was like going through these like high-end fashion magazines and pulling the pictures and putting them on my wall. I remember this one specific ad campaign. It was like a St. John's ad campaign. And it was this like super tan blonde lady like laying on her yacht. And I was like, a life. Let's go.
Damn. Yo, I remember when the first bug bit me for entrepreneurship. Like I was on my phone or something. I was on the iPad and I saw an ad of a guy literally Lamborghini in the back, you know, and everything like that on his laptop on a nice, you know, beach and everything. And I was like, dude, that's the life I want. Like, I want that life. I want to be with the laptop on the beach doing whatever the fuck I want.
See, and like I didn't get it. Like I had all these pictures. They were literally a wallpaper in my bedroom. And I ended up moving out of there when I was 18. I got this job at it's a very exclusive resort spa on an island. There's no cars there. It's just like the most amazing place. And I got that job when I was 18, moved out of the house. And it's like all these things started coming at me. Like I didn't have the certification for it, but I got the promotion to manage the spa. And then I noticed that the people that were up there, they call them cottages on the West Bluff. And really, they were like mansions that were people's like fourth or fifth property. And they come up there for a week and then close it, winterize it.
Wow.
Like that was the surrounding on this island. Right. And so celebrities would come in or people that like, I want to say like two of the biggest restaurant chains of the United States, like the owners have a house up there and they would come up and they would be in the same space with me and it felt like second skin. It felt totally normal. And that has been my experience since I was like 18.
And I love that you said that you normalized it. Like, you know, that became your new normal because a lot of people fail to do that. They fail to make things their new normal and their new baseline standard for themselves. Even I've struggled with this. Like that was a limiting belief that I had been putting in myself for the longest time. And very recently I just was able to break it. I did want to ask, like, taking away from this, what would you say led up to the point of meeting like these high class individuals like Elon Musk? Like, what did that feel like when you finally ran into these people? Elon, the owner of Instagram, the owner of Twitter, Facebook, and all these platforms. What was that like? Like, take me through that. Like, what was going through your mind?
It was so weird. So again, with like the normalizing and conditioning your mind. So when I was 22, you know, I love the fact that you can type something into a search engine and like there's tracking for that. Because I guess I had looked up on the computer one time, like, how do you do makeup for film? Because you see, like, I started in resorts doing hair and makeup and whatever, and like managing. And then, like, 6 months out of the year, I would volunteer my time at a local TV station running camera. And I was like, how do I mix these two worlds? Because I love the beauty side, but I love the film side too. And apparently I had like typed in a search engine, how do you learn to do makeup for film? Because I wanted both and I didn't want one or the other. And I got a phone call one day. This lady was like, hey, I'm calling you from XYZ school in California. And you filled out one of our like search applications. And I was like, I did? She's like, yeah, the owner of the school wants to talk to you. Great sales pitch. Like,
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
I didn't know sales back then. I was like,
That funnel, you know, they funneled you in.
She wants to interview me on a
That's
call.
awesome.
Yeah. I mean, you know, a couple
When
weeks
you're
later.
young, you go
What's
like,
that?
"Yo, somebody wants to interview me? What?"
Once I learned sales, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But anyways, like I ended up, you know, forking over 20K, moving to Los Angeles, which I never thought that I would do, went to the school, and it was ingrained in me at the school because I was learning from other celebrity makeup artists. You know, they're teaching you they call it like your set etiquette, like how to behave when you are around people who are high profile or they're experiencing high stress, and knowing that before they go on to camera, like we are the last people as the stylist to energetically influence that person before what could be the biggest day of their life.
Wow.
And so that was already getting like pre-gamed or conditioned into my brain when I was
Wow.
22. And I carried that with me through the rest of my career. So when I wasn't working on like shoots or fashion shows or whatever, that same feeling of responsibility for my energy and what I brought to people who were high stress, high functioning, high maintenance, because they're high performance, I took that with me everywhere. And I think that that was like one of the seeds to greatness in my career. So from 22 to 28, every time that I worked with a client, that was the way that I treated them.
That's amazing.
And
Okay.
that was, you know, I think the movement for me getting into, I guess, the rooms with the people that I got into.
Right. You know what I like about that? You said something about pregame, like a pregame ritual, right? And even now, like, you know, I come from a sales background. So even during like sales calls, during like sessions now, there has to be like a pregame ritual and a pregame ritual towards like the beginning of your day. Like even I myself had to go back and like fix everything like, yo, you got to have this pregame stuff in place so that you can conquer the rest of your day. I want to ask you, like, if you had to keep like one ritual for yourself on a daily basis that's made the biggest impact for you, what would that be?
There's not one. I have like
I like my drink. How's that?
No, like we were just at this amazing gathering of elite professionals, and you heard it from, you know, the top presenter. Like, are you high maintenance? Like,
Right.
yes. It takes a lot to be a high
Mhm.
performing human. Like, you
Right. I don't know.
can't half-ass it.
Good.
Right. I don't know if you've been told this, but like even myself, I've been told like, yo, you do too much to manage yourself. You're way too this or you're way too that, way too hyper, this, that, and the third. Like, I want to hear your thoughts on that. Like, what the hell should I be telling these people? If there's somebody out there right now and they're like, yo, all these people around me are saying all this BS to me. What is your advice to that person?
Tune it out. Like, tune it out. Okay, there's going to be people who have strange things to say to you. Like, that's their reality. That's their life. That's their reality. That's the movie that they are living in. That's the lens that they see life through. Like, I like that
Man.
word lens because working in film, like you know, there's cameras all over the room, and the person behind the camera
Oh,
they're
snap.
seeing,
Whoa.
you know, anyone who loves photography or loves video, like you see the room from your lens, your perspective.
Mm.
So
Wow.
you can't tell that person that what they're seeing through their lens is inaccurate. Like you can't
Wow.
tell them that they're wrong. But from your lens and from your experience, you're like, no, I need to clean my lens. I need to make sure that my battery is fully charged. I need this, I need that, I need charging cables, I need all the things for my lens.
That's deep.
You
Yo, it is deep, man. You listen to this, guys? Whoever's listening to this right now, write this down. Change the way you're viewing things from your lens. She said it best, man. I gotta give you a bomb for that. Like, dude, I have to. Seriously.
right?
I do
So,
have a.
oh, go ahead. But
I
you
was
know
gonna
what?
ask you. Go
Let me just add to this. Okay,
go
so
ahead. No, you go.
like this is the emotional intelligence piece that honestly I was missing. Like, how old are you guys right now? This is so huge that you're so impactful and you're so young and you're so crisp and amazing. How old are you guys?
21.
And I'm 20.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so when I was 20, 21, like I loved on some level my family and the people around me and whatever, but I was also highly irritated with them.
Mm.
And I was like, what you're saying is irrelevant. You are stupid. I want to get away from you. And so I moved. Like, I moved across the country.
You know, I think the universe is trying to send us a message, man. we're starting to hear the word move a lot.
But here's the vibe. Here's the vibe. What they are seeing from their lens, like, that's what they can see. And you cannot tell them that they're wrong, because it's their perspective, it's their shot.
Wow.
It's what they see, and it's their experience. You cannot disprove that that's what they see.
Mm.
And do you think it's like that because they've been programmed that way, or they've been living that way for so long?
You know, here's the thing with our parents, and I love my parents so deeply now, and I'm like 34, 35. I don't know how old I am. I'm up there. But the
That's
thing
young.
that well, emotionally, this has been like the most amazing year for me as a human being, but it's because I came into the place of knowing that my parents, their perspective is their own. I cannot disprove it, and it is their reality.
100%.
But they love us. Like your parents, the people who irritate you the most, the people who are talking the most garbage about their lens of your experience, because they cannot see from your lens. These people, they love us so much. And sometimes it's so incredibly hard to see. Like, you would literally have to like have like an emotion barometer and like hold it up like you're taking their COVID temperature and be like, do you love me? Says yes. Like,
Yeah.
reader says yes. But they love us so much. And it's like, you just have to become emotionally intelligent enough to be able to tune out the things that are not helpful for you, and even to be able to say like, hey, I love you so much, and I want you to be able to talk to me about what you're thinking, but like, I have to feel good too, and this is kind of messing with my
100%.
confidence. I know you want me to win, so can we not talk about that right now, and I'll just show you, because I'm growing my confidence, and I can
Yo,
just
I love that.
success.
Amazing.
I love that.
Amazing.
Because it's not that you have to run away from them. It's not that you have to cut them off. Like, you don't have to move across the country, but you can become emotionally intelligent enough to kind of shut it down or ask for their support while you're
Like, I
growing.
think one of the biggest thing I used to tell myself every time somebody would try to talk me out of things or anything, I literally always told myself, if I'm talking to a person, if they're not where I want to be in the future, I shouldn't even be listening to them. And yeah, it might be a little dark energy, right? And I'm like, yeah, like, okay, like my mom or my dad, cool. Is he where I want to be? Is his income where I want to be? Is his fitness level where I want to be? Is his health where I want to be? You know? And then I would categorize, okay, in what category is he giving me advice on? Let's just say wealth. Is this wealth where I want to be? If not, I should probably be not listening to him.
So the mentality of like actually listening to practitioners, that's where coaches come in as well, and mentors. Like instead of listening to somebody who's a theorist, you actually want to go to somebody who's actually done it. And this happens a lot like in college. Like, I have nothing against college, bro. Go for the experience, do what you got to do. You want to get a degree, go get a degree. Doesn't really matter. But the thing is, you cannot take advice from a theorist because that theorist hasn't actually done anything with the knowledge. I can read all the books in the world, but none of that knowledge is going to matter if I don't do anything with the knowledge. It's going to sit there and it's going to rot for the rest of my life. And that's a basic truth. And a lot of people don't want to accept that, but that's the reality of it.
Yeah, that's the thing about like going to college for business school, and you're like, what business has my professor done? Lemonade stand. 2004 lemonade stand.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, but here's the thing about like, I fully get it. I used to have this really huge chip on my shoulder, probably same age as you guys, up until probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, where I was like, look, if you're not paying my bills, like, get out of my ears. You can't help me.
Yeah.
You know, like, this is my show, you know.
Yeah.
And I realized though that like in some relationships, this is the place to kind of look like, is this a relationship that is worth having later? Like when it comes to the case of your parents, 100%. Like, that woman wiped your butt. Like, yo, She loves you so much. Your father, the same. They love you so much. And that's a relationship worth having. So the issue is when we throw like that hard line of I can't receive from you because you are not financially and physically and emotionally the human that I am going to become. Like we throw the baby out with the bathwater. And here's what I mean by that. Like you cut off the richness of the relationship by tuning them out. There's things that they have to offer, but this is where we are so different. Our generation is very strange. We have something going for us, especially in the, I would say the energetic field, our emotional wiring. I think our brains are very different from our parents. Something shifted in the last 30 years that we are very different, really. And I think that we're going to emotionally and energetically dwarf our parents. It just is what it is. So you hear this funny thing, this funny term of people saying like holding space. Have you heard that before?
No.
Okay, so it's like kind of like a woo thing in the coaching sphere right now. And people will say like, I just need someone to hold space for me. Or they'll say, I'm holding space for you if you're going through a hard time. So holding space is the ability in your emotional person and in your strength and in your authority and in your experience to be able to hear someone else's lens and not be moved. That's a muscle. And you only get it by having resistance. Like Taylor and Chris over, this past week that we were together in Nashville, that's just incredible place. I'm still blown away that you guys are there. Like your listeners are so blessed. So blessed to be able to hear your perspective on this podcast.
So you said holding space. You said holding space is hearing someone else, hear someone else's lens of viewing the world, and to not be moved by it.
Yes.
Okay.
So
and you only get that by having
Kind of
resistance.
like a stoic philosophy of
it may be. I don't know. It's like you have to be able to do that for relationships that count, for relationships that you're like, I don't see a future of this. This is not someone that's going to be in my life in 5 years. For those people, fine, tune it out. But the people that love you, like your mom and your dad and the people who are so like in there in your life, there's that moment of saying, you aren't who I'm going to be. I have to shut you out. But it's like when you go to the gym, like Taylor and Chris said this, you can either just pick up the bar and you can pump the bar, or you can add weight and resistance and build that muscle. So you actually become more emotionally intelligent and stronger when you're able to be non-reactive to the influencers in your life, like your parents and your family and the people who their lens of your experience is so whack. Like you're like, you can't see what I'm seeing. You don't understand this. No, they don't. They're looking through their lens. But when you can hear their perspective about their lens and not disprove them, not say you're wrong, but instead stay in your power, keep your energy high, be non-reactive, and still like hold your space, that muscle gets stronger. It's gonna be so easy for you to be like, yep, that's cool.
Dude, that's so huge actually. And even myself, like even now, my parents always sneak diss sometimes, but even now I try and make sure that our relationship is really good. I try and communicate with them as much as possible. I'm like, just do empowering things around myself. And I would say that like, the relationship is definitely getting better. Although sometimes things do happen, of course, it's family. But overall, like it's definitely getting better. And I'm so happy that you said something like that. I want to ask you, go ahead.
No, because I was gonna literally, last week or a week and a half, I guess, when we were at the gathering, and Toshiba and I, we quickly got noticed as the young guys, like the young guys, and literally while like we were there, like I was like, oh my God, first of all, wow, amazing people, and they have said so many things to us that is like, oh my God, like I love and respect everyone honestly, but literally like the only thing that was going through my head was like, don't get comfortable, don't.
Yeah, like in the back of my head too, I was like, dude, complacency is the devil, bro.
So it was like my ego was rising and rising and rising because, oh, everybody's looking at us. Oh, everybody's congratulating us. You know, everybody's kind of like, they're impressed in a sense. But I was like, cool, but we're not just here to be here. You know, like I immediately wrote on my phone, compare yourself to the future version of yourself, your future potential. Don't coast around. Keep doing
Right.
your duty. Keep on going what you've been doing. You know, keep that integrity with yourself. The work in the dark that nobody sees. Keep your standards high. And even if you're here, your standards should be raised. Your habits should have been raised. Your baseline should have been raised. Your routines would have been better. You should have been tracking it. You know, we talked about attribution during the gathering. And that alone will make you an unstoppable human with the environment that you have. Because you have the people that love you, that care for you, that want you to grow, right? One, do the same for others and take care of yourself as well.
Damn.
And that was just,
bro, dude. I completely agree. It's actually on my morning formula as well. Like I wrote this down. I was like, don't get complacent. And I had to learn not to be complacent the hard way. Like seriously, you get punched in the face in boxing a couple times. You'll learn to keep your hands up, you know, for the rest of the rounds. I'm serious though. Like you can't be complacent in like real-time fights like that too. You have to be sharp. You have to be on the ball. You have to know what you're going to be doing and know that you have confidence in doing that and have certainty in doing that. It's even on my morning formula. Like it says what Taylor was saying when Business Week told him that he was great and he believed that what they were saying, I am the greatest, I am the greatest. And then when you start to believe that you are the greatest, you start to go home early, you start to wake up later, you start to be complacent, and you can't allow that to happen. And that's why I've gone back actually, and I told myself, like, how do I fall back in love with the unsexy shit that nobody's doing? Like, it's unsexy for you to say, like, yo, I wake up in the morning, bro. Like, I go to the gym, meditate, morning formula, all this stuff, read this, that, and the third, pick up a book, this and that. That doesn't sound sexy, but it's going to get you the results that you want.
Why is that not sexy? Like people would die to have a morning like that. Are you kidding?
You'd be surprised at the people that are around our age, how, like, that's just, maybe that's not a paradigm. Maybe that's just a lens of viewing, like you were saying before.
Yeah.
But I don't see that in a lot of people around our age. It's like, what? You do that? You journal? You make a schedule? What is that?
Xtina, I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
What does your daily routine look like? Meaning, what time do you wake up? What are you sleeping? I know you have a baby, which is like the cutest thing in the world.
Yeah.
You have a
Yes.
husband. Yeah. And like, what is your routine like right now? Like, what do you do? What's your morning routine? What do you do? How do you keep your energy up? Like, what's that like?
Dude, okay. So it definitely shifted since having Sloan because like it's like a baby is like an extension of your human body. It's like I have this extra 20-pound appendage now who makes noise. It's so weird.
Dude, that must be crazy.
It's crazy. So like the sleep is different. Like she probably wakes up probably every 2 hours or whatever. So I wake up every 2 hours. It's fascinating, but
Bro, you're a freaking boss, honestly.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So like the secrets for me are radical self-care. Radical self-care. And I teach that to all my clients too. I'm kind of like a psycho about it. I'm like, dude, you as women specifically, and I understand this on a very different level now being a mom, but women are like, we are like this web of like outgoing energy all the time.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then with that and context switching, which that's my new word, I learned that context switching, like you're going from this person is asking you a question and now it's mealtime and now there's a conference call and the baby is crying and making noise. It's like switching context all day long.
It's like multitasking at a very high pace.
Super high.
It's like every 10 seconds.
Yeah. And if you don't do it, they can die. Like the child can die.
Yeah, that's just
so
wow.
like,
dude.
Like no risk. So my thing looks like this. Like we get up in the morning. Sloan typically will sleep until about 8 o'clock, and every ounce of sleep that I can get, I get it with her. I start my morning with super high level nutrition. I take the same things every morning. I've taken the same things for 3 years. And it's stuff that really like turns on my brain, fuels me on like the deepest level possible. And once I've done that, it's either or. For most of the year, holding a book physically, she would tear the paper, so it just didn't work. So I listened to a lot of things. I recorded my morning formula spoken, so I can put it in earbuds and listen to myself saying my own morning formula. Because if I was holding the paper, my kid would grab it. And I was like, either I'm not going to do this or I'm going to morph it to fit my life.
Dude, adaptability and resourcefulness, man. That's what I'm learning from this.
Amazing.
Yep. And then we go out for like a 2-hour workout. Like I take the baby with me. We go out in the woods. I listen to my personal development, sales trainings, marketing trainings, emotional intelligence trainings, like whatever I've got for that day. And I listen to 2 to 4 hours of content every single day of my life. Up level my game. And then I come back in, I shower and, you know, get the vibes for video and get into my day.
Dude, that's
amazing.
awesome. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I want to know what your defining moment in life was. Like everybody talks about the top of the mountain, right? Every single person is like, yo, how does it feel at the top of the mountain, this, that, and the third. I want to know, where was that time where you were at a place that you finally struck that line? You said, enough is enough. I'm changing my life. Has that happened?
I don't have that.
You haven't had that?
I have things like that like every 3 months, bro.
It's like
Not one.
evolution.
Yeah, like I feel like every 90 days you're a new human and new things like top you out and max you out, and you kind of go like, oh, I'm done being frustrated with this. Like this can shift, I can change it. What am I doing? Flip,
Right.
let's go.
That's
That's all the
Wow.
time.
I love that.
Question.
Yeah.
Since we're at this age and we're growing quite rapidly,
Mhm.
and I think one of the things I think Tasib can agree with this as well. Like, I'm talking about relationships, right? Girls,
man.
we're young, right? We're very active.
Xtina, you set the bar really high for girls in my life suddenly, you know? I'm just letting you know.
What should we be looking for? What, like, because we talk about this, by the way. We talk about this all the time. And
The bar
it's a
has been set.
that doesn't involve much of business, but involves our mental health, our emotional state, everything else. What is there anything that we should like qualities of a girl? Should we
I
wait?
agree.
Should we focus on business?
Yeah,
Like,
I
what
want
are
the
your
answer to
advice
this. I
on
need
that?
the answer.
How long do we have? This is important.
Dude, I need the answer, please.
Like edit most of this out. This is your podcast.
Dude.
All right.
Really? We gotta schedule a part 2.
This is really important. Okay. So my first thought process is this, and it's something again that I learned this year in an amazing training. I will just drop her name right quick. Her name is Melanie Ann Layer. This is for the ladies. She has a program called Femme Fatale. Holy shit. Okay, here's what I learned. Especially for women, you have like a 3-month cycle in your hormones. So for the ladies who are listening, and men, you should know this because it probably affects you too. And it has to do with, it's called the cuddle hormone. It happens for women when they have babies. It happens during most physical encounters of a romantic type, if you catch my drift. It's called oxytocin. And you guys are probably like up there with your serotonin and your dopamine because you manage your bodies well, and you are unicorns for your age bracket. And you know this, you're aware. Okay, so you're doing things like you're aware of what you're eating, you're aware of how much sleep you're getting. You track these things because your mentors are teaching you to track them. So you're this amazing high level being of a unicorn in your age bracket, like you guys are the weird ones. It's great. So here's what's going to happen. If you are operating like that, and becoming successful and standing out, you're probably going to have girls that are attracted to that because they're like, I have hit the lotto. Boom. Okay.
Dude, dead ass, bro.
Right? But here's the problem. If they are not like that, if they are
That's the
not
problem.
okay,
Yes, it is.
if they're not like that, it's like a 90-day recipe for extreme success or doomsday. It goes like this. When women's oxytocin level, that's like the happy hormone, which we can be responsible for by living a pleasurable life and taking care of our bodies and creating our own happiness. That's my goal in my relationship with my husband. I create my own happiness. Anything he gives me is a bonus. But most girls are not like that. They're not even aware that they have these things going on. So you have like a 90-day cycle when you meet the Tasib of the world or the Conan of the world or whatever. And these young girls, they are going to meet you. They are going to see the ultimate trophy prize and they are going to go like, I think I'm in love with him. And they, because of their oxytocin, will not be able to get enough of you. And you guys will feed off of that with each other for 90 days. And the love, AKA oxytocin, AKA dopamine rush, all the hormones, they blind you to the actual facts.
Damn.
They will make you stupid and crazy. And that's a really good timing to get a girl pregnant. Because you can't see, like you are blind. So if there's someone who's really, I know, to see your eyeballs.
Bro, like,
Listen, in that 90-day bracket, you will be insane. The first 90 days of a girl who you think is the bomb, the first 90 days, just consider yourself stupid and crazy. And after 90 days with that person, you need to pull out the data, the analytics. You guys are smart. You know how to do this. You need to actually look at the human being. Are they psycho? Is she crazy? Is she messy? Does she have, did she have the wherewithal to support a rock star? Is she also a rock star? So you're going to have to co-support her. Are you guys going to be co-leaders? Is that the vibe in your relationship? Or do you want someone who's going to like back you and you're the rock star? What do you want? Like, do not make any hard decisions before 90 days. No hard decisions inside the first 90 days.
I just wrote that down. I was
90 days, huh? Okay.
90 days is the cycle. After that, your eyes will be clearer.
Should I wait an extra week?
See if she's crazy. Yes.
Yes.
And like really, before you make any decisions about the opposite sex, like give it minimum 90 days. I really think you don't know the fullness of a person's personality for like 2 years. So
right.
Take your time.
Yeah, I was just reading a while ago, actually this book right here. Your Next 5 Moves by Patrick David. Yeah, and he talks about how like sometimes people get into marriages and people get into relationships and they don't realize what they're necessarily getting themselves into, and they can end up living this fallacy for such a long time until finally one day, like 3-4 years into the future, you guys have kids and everything, but like something breaks and you find out something about that person that you didn't even know was like there.
Yep.
You're so far into the relationship that you're just like, oh my God, like what do I do now?
Yeah, there's certain personality types too, especially like, you know, if people are very narcissistic or even like a sociopath, they can hide that for a long time. You don't see it. Like it can take a couple years of you seeing them interact with other people besides you, or just being emotionally intelligent and evaluating before you can even see it. So Take your time.
Oh, thank you for telling me. You know what I'm saying? mom's always pushing me. She's like, you're 21, you're gonna be 22 and 23, you're gonna have this, that, and the third. When you get married? And I'm like, Mom, I need you to stop talking. Like, not to be mean, but like, just stop. No, don't even drill the idea into my head. Don't even plant it.
No, I got married the first time when I was like 23. And it was very like, I knew him for under a year. And it was one of those situations of like, you know, my eyes glazed over. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I made the decision. I said yes to the engagement inside the first 90 days. And then I felt obligated. And then I felt guilty. And then I felt scared of backing out. And then I felt embarrassed. And then I didn't want to hurt him. And I ultimately ended up divorced.
Wow.
It's a thing. So take your time.
Damn. I wanna ask you another question. Like, obviously, we know you as the queen of organic.
Boom.
And I want to get to the consulting side of yourself. What got you that name? What coined that term?
Well, it really was like this year inside of the trainings that we are in as business people, up leveling in a massive way our brands. I came in and I watched a lot of the content and I was like, I already have been doing this for like 5 years. And we have built, we've easily crossed the $1 million lifetime sales, and we've done multiple 6 figures for back to back to back years. And it's been fully organic.
Wow.
Like, it's a vibe. It's
what are your like kind of like the how-tos, like a 5-step basic etiquette of writing good organic or producing good video content?
Ooh.
And even I even watched yours, and I was just like 6 pages of notes. I'm still answering the questions that you gave me. No joke. I'm not kidding. I don't joke about this stuff. Like,
that's so good. It's really, do you want like the physicality of copy, or do you want like the psychology? Because they're two completely different things.
ooh, take me to the psychology of it. I'd love to know.
So people, they want connection. Like, they don't want to be sold to. And so the faster you can connect to people, the better. Your top line or above the fold when you're scrolling social, like I'm talking Facebook specifically, there's your above the fold section, which is like all the things that people say before they have to click more to read more. Above the fold is like, it has to be so juicy. Over 4 billion pieces of content get added to Facebook. I want to say like daily or something like that.
Right. Damn.
Ridiculous. So there's so much noise. If what you have to say above the fold isn't grabbing someone immediately, like you're done, you're toast. So your top line, I learned this from this amazing teacher named Boss Lee. I love her. Her vibes are everything. I learned this from her like 2 years ago. She said, if your post is worth $1, the top line is 80 cents.
That's the hook.
Yeah, it's so important. And the faster you can grab people to feel something, because they're on social media because either they're looking for connection. It's called social media because they want to connect. They want to connect to their feelings. They want to feel something. They want to feel like, oh my God, they're frustrated about what I'm frustrated about too. They feel like I feel, oh, that's super funny. I want to read more. You have to catch them in their feelings. It's psychology. They're not there to read a sales manual. Like, they want connection. You gotta use that. Yeah.
Right.
That's huge. I have a question. And this may be one of our last questions because I know we're kind of running out of time and Xtina is very busy as well. So how do you differentiate yourself from everybody else in your market? Like, is it your positioning? Is it your messaging? Is it the way you do your makeup and you're always bright in front of your camera? Is your baby because she's the cutest thing in the world? Like, what is that? Like, I'm just curious.
I think it's all the things. Like, you are the brands. Like, with what you guys are doing, who are you serving? Who are you helping right now?
We're
basically
basically in the coaches, consultant, e-commerce, whatever they need, funnels help or ads help. We have more of a done for you offer. So it's more of a, like, I've been doing funnels for the past 4 years. I've been running ads ever since I was 16, running my first e-com store. That's how I used to generate traffic.
Yeah.
And so I learned ads, even though I would break even on the e-com stores. I learned so much about the ads and the creative and the interest and the targeting. And I got like really deep into like human behavior. So like, I'm big on psychology. I'm big on human behavior. And yeah.
So you're not just some young guy who learned ads 4 weeks ago on a webinar.
No, come on. We've been doing this for so long. I remember back in the day, like, just going into, different stores before even all this COVID stuff happened. Cause like, I would literally do walk-ins for the local places that we have around here. because I was always, my forte was always like communication. I love communication. I think it is the greatest
So
thing
good at it.
that's ever been. I think everybody should learn how to communicate properly. It's so beautiful. Energy is everything, and that's why you have this beautiful energy around yourself as well. And just being able to use that energy and that like that vitality inside of myself to transfer that to different clients when speaking to them, I think is the biggest thing that definitely led to us being in partnership together. Because like I always love talking to people. I always love helping people. And even now, like something brand new that I garnered from my mentor, another one, if you guys know who Brad Lee is, I love listening to Brad Lee. He's such a good closing coach, sales coach. And he was just saying, he was like, I help people get what they want, and in return, I get what I want. So if I help you get what you want, in return, I'm gonna get what I want. You know, so just changing around like our messaging too. We struggled with our messaging for quite some time, and I think we still need to get some clarity on that as well. Even the way we're presenting our offer to people, we still need to get some clarity on that as well. But definitely just having that background and being able to articulate that message properly and making sure that you are getting the person what they want at the end of the day. And that once they get what they want, you give them what they need as well. Because usually we think we want one thing, but we need another thing.
That's your brand. Like your question was, how do you stand out? You fearlessly share that. Like I look at you guys and your story is so phenomenal. Like what I'm seeing right now is like a hot pink freaking bubblegum magenta lions in that shape, Scully. Like I see you guys, your young 20s, you're in your like office space, whiteboards popping, been running ads for freaking however long, like master communicators, energy magnets, and you're so concerned with other people and them getting results and your expertise around that, and you're willing to craft something, you know, that will fit them, whether it's funnels help or whether it's ads help. What do they need? You are hashtag here for it. And you're also like amazing. You're like, okay, brows on fleek out here, like the vibe, the energy, you know what I'm saying? What you guys bring to the table, that's your brand. So how do you stand out? You be more of who you already are, and you fearlessly share it. That's
Dude, I freaking love
that's
that,
been
man.
like our longest time. Like, you know, we just keep everything to ourselves. We read something, we wrote multitude of books. Like even we get clients crazy results. You know, like recently this summer, we have a local client, a beach bar, and they're like, guys, you exhausted us this summer. We've never had this many people come in. You know, like Russell Brunson, who's like the owner of ClickFunnels and yada yada yada, he says that on a website, an average conversion rate is about 3%. On a funnel, it should be around 15 to 20%. I'm like, cool, I take that. I'm like, why does that happen? Right? Why? Because there's not many places for a person when they go into a funnel, there's not many places to leave. They actually have to go through the funnel, right? So this year they wanted us to create a new website because their website was wackos. And what I did was I actually mixed the website with the funnel and I combined them together. And
you got to create IP for this, bro. Come on.
And what happened was they were getting like 1% submissions, and now it bumped up to 22%. And I was like, yo. And they got over 3,500 applications. I'm like, whoa.
Listen, so for you guys, you know, I just obviously because I love organic and I'm like, you have to share these things, like that post, that image, you guys, like back to back, like just this right now, your vibe right now, your image right now, so dope. Like, yeah, we're sitting in our office and we just got this note from our client and they said, like, you wore us out, like clap, clap.
Yeah,
clap.
I literally have the
You
text and everything.
wore
It's awesome.
us out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a whole vibe. And then you tell the story about it because people don't know unless you tell them. And you're not bothering anyone by telling them. You're worthy of being heard. You're worthy of being seen. You're worthy of getting more results. Like why are you not telling people about that?
Wow.
That's
That's really empowering. Like seriously. Because like even sometimes, you know, there's people out there, even myself, I've struggled with this too, where like you sit at the screen, you're writing an organic post, you're about to send a PM, you're about to send something, and you're just like, why does this person even like, why does it matter that I send this to this person? Like, am I actually, you try and validate whether or not you're allowed to send this. And the truth is that you are worthy. You do have that value to bring to the world. And I feel like
Absolutely.
that's why a lot of people fall back into that zone where they start to not charge as much as they're worth, and they come into that zone where it's like, oh, I'm not worth that much, I can't be doing this, I can't be doing that, and all those limiting beliefs come back, you know.
Right. It's a worthiness factor too. Like,
For sure. And that's why, like, even I was going through the laws of success the other day. I was listening to it on audio because every now and again, like, if I don't set up for myself what I want to read throughout the day, I literally just pick up any single book and I'll just start like listening or reading or whatever. Like, it's a problem. But the cool thing is that, like, I was listening to it and he was talking about the principle and the law of doing more than what you're paid for, doing like over delivering on everything that you do. And the cool thing is that, like, we decided to like embody that. So when we started working with people, everything we did went above and beyond. 24/7 support, like literally our phones were like completely open schedule and everything like that. But then again, the thing that you run into is now somebody is controlling your schedule too. You wake up in the morning, you're answering emails, you're doing all this stuff, and then you need that time allotted for yourself as well. Have you ran into that? And if you did, how did you balance it?
dude, bro, this was my early like 3 years in business because it was just me and Brad. So we launched our cosmetic company when we were living in Los Angeles, and I really had no boundaries. I didn't understand it. I had people telling me to make boundaries, but I was like, what does that even mean? And then there's the side of us, because we have that hustle gene and we have that energy naturally that we want to produce. We love to produce things. We like to get results. It gives us a natural high. Like, we want it. So I would work like 16-hour days. And if I woke up in the middle of the night and my messenger was pinging, I would answer people, because I'm like, they're probably up
Damn.
in the middle of the night, like they need help with their makeup stuff. And I would just answer. And it came to a point of, really, I think when I got pregnant, I could see myself differently. And I was like, this is not doable. This is not sustainable. I'm driving myself insane. And so this last year, I've really pared it down. It's come to the place of, for my sanity and for my health, because health is number one. If your body is not okay, like, nothing's going to be okay. What do we learn? If biology and mindset get in a fight, biology
Yeah,
wins.
biology always wins.
Right. So now it's like, on the daily, I maybe, my max out is like 11 a.m. to like 5 o'clock is when I'm available for business questions. Like, that's it.
Right.
That's it.
Gotcha.
Not available after that.
So I have a question for you because I do want to wrap this up. I don't want this to go too long. I know you have a schedule. I know you have a lot to do,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't want to take away from that. So my question to you is, if there's a young woman out there listening to this, if there's a young man out there around our age, what is the biggest piece of advice that you would want to relay to them?
If I could go and jump through the screen of time and shake my shoulders as a 22-year-old, I would say to myself, this is huge. Find your mentor.
Yo, I love
And
it.
I didn't find a business coach until I was 28.
Wow.
So I was doing, like, all the things in my career until I was 28. And then I finally came across a business coach that really was like a good fit. I read a lot of books. I was always a weirdo. I was always like manifesting stuff since I was a teenager. Like, I was like that. But I didn't find a coach, a mentor, someone that I plugged into. I've been going to business events like what you guys went to since 2013, every 6 to 8.
Whoa. So
That's
like,
where I'm 28.
dang. See, so like in our minds, like for me at least, I was thinking like, oh, at least the only event, like forget everything else. I don't want to go anywhere. But what I'm getting from you is that you can go to other events as well to garner
Yeah.
new information.
Here's the thing is, you will be attracted to the mentor that really is an expander for you. So something about Chris and Taylor resonated with you, whether it was that they They started from nothing and they're now making millions a month, whether it's the way that they built it because it was from laptops and cell phones. Something about them made you say, I see myself doing what they're doing and they've already done it, so I can pick their brain and pay them to do so. Like,
I
that's an
think the
expander.
biggest thing was their growth rate, actually.
Yes, definitely.
Really, like, I'm like, wait, this is possible? Cool. Let me go learn from them.
Right.
So, like, gotta get in there. And, like, even you said earlier, like, hey, like, you guys are so lucky that you're already an elite,
Yeah.
right? So, and first of all, I want to thank the TNF team because there's always going out and grabbing more people.
Yep.
Yes, we're looking, but they're looking as well.
Yes.
Right? And then when we both meet in the middle, boom, come inside into our family. It's very welcome. People are amazing. Meeting Brad, meeting you, meeting Bijou, meeting Sierra, meeting like Logan, all these people. It's like, wow. Like, even like we'd go back to, like, when we were at the gathering, we'd go back to our room and we're like, this is real.
Yeah, for real. Like, seriously, like, knowing these people are actually real and putting a four-dimensional picture to you guys, it's a massive game changer.
Yeah.
Massive game changer. And actually being able to come together to, like, meet everyone and everything. I have 2 more questions, then we're going to hit a speed round on words. I'll tell you what that is. Don't worry.
You're good.
My question to you is, what is the impact you want to have on other people that, are listening to this?
Yeah. I'm always obsessed with people's empowerment. I'm obsessed with people's empowerment and exposure. So you don't know that you can have something unless someone else is embodying it and living it out and showing you that it's possible. So I'm like, expose your success. That empowers other people. They're looking for something to calibrate to. So when you have a success, expose that and empower other people to make moves.
Wow, I freaking love that. So, like, in essence, and this is the final question, what would you say is your legacy?
It goes back to that word empowerment. Like, this has actually been in my heart a lot lately. To sum it up for us, whether it was in makeup, because we gave people the confidence to really stand up and speak their mind, or the trainings that we do on people's organic or videos, or however we're helping them to actually become more visible, it just comes down to empowering people to speak their message. We all have one. You're supposed to come here and make a difference. And so many people are quiet because they don't feel empowered to say their thing.
God
I have
damn.
a question too.
Okay.
Top 3 books. Name them.
For what age? God.
Doesn't matter. We're talking in anything, top 3 books that have changed your life.
Listen, I have a couple minutes because my next meeting's at 12:30. Can I really go with it, or do you guys have a time constraint?
Nah, go ahead. I don't have my next meeting till 1, so.
Dang,
Okay.
we're good.
So at the beginning, the book that shifted me was, I got it. I actually stole it. I stole
Wait.
it. I was working as a hair and makeup artist. Yeah. Like, I was on a production team, and this was my life in like my mid-20s. I was on a production team doing the hair and makeup for this massive shoot on an island. And we were in like a production rented house, somebody's probably 3rd or 4th or 5th property that they were renting out because they didn't need their freaking island house that weekend. Like, that vibe. Amazing house. On the bookshelf, like, everybody had been styled and they left. And I was alone in this like house. That clearly someone has to have a library in their mind to manifest a house like that. So probably a high level thinker. And there was this one book on the shelf, and it was called The Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. And I swear it was like the book was calling me from across the room, and it jumped off the shelf and into my hands and into my luggage. And I took it back to Miami.
That's funny.
And I read it on the beach. Huh?
Is it by T.
Harbecker.
Yeah.
When you're getting started, and I think that was a recommended book from TNF too somewhere. Like, when I was getting started, it was the book that shifted me when I was making $65,000 a year as a hairdresser and a makeup girl or whatever in Miami, like living on South Beach. And I would just go out and read that book in the sun. And I was like, what is this? what is this? So that's my book number one. I went to their conferences. They were meh. They were okay. But like the book changed me. The second book, this is so interesting. I don't know why this word speaks to me, but the second book I read probably 5 years ago, and it shifted me again. And it was called The Millionaire Next Door. And they also have The Millionaire Woman Next Door. And it was like a mindset philosophy thing about actual case studies of millionaires and how they behave and how they make decisions and what they do. And there are some limiting beliefs in there that I can see now because I'm more expanded. But back then, 5 years ago, when I was getting started in business, it made a lot of sense and it helped me. And then the most recent book that's really expanded me and shifted me and opened my heart to be a bigger receiver and even better in my energy and even better in my creation and how I perceive wealth. It's a newbie. It's actually what Rhonda Byrne read before she made the movie The Secret. That's what she based her studies on. It's a tiny micro book that you can get on Amazon. You could read it in a couple days. It's called The Science of Getting Rich.
Ooh, by Wallace D. Wattles.
Those are my 3 books for a newbie. Somebody just getting started on the wealth journey. Those would be my 3 books.
I love it. We're going to hit a 10-word speed round for if you don't know what this is. I'm going to say 10.
I didn't plan
I'm going to
this
say
about
I'm going to say 10 different words, and I want you to say the first thing that pops up in your head when I say these words.
Oh my gosh, I feel nervous.
Can I add
you got this. You got
add
this.
one more.
You got this. You got this. Ready? First word, success.
Money.
Money, okay.
Happiness.
My baby.
Money.
Freedom.
Freedom.
Time.
A false illusion.
Ooh. Fulfillment.
The client deliverables.
Impact.
The real you.
Damn. Limits.
Fake.
Ooh. Leadership.
Always lifelong thing.
Legacy.
People need to know what this is.
Family.
Everything.
Conan, you have one?
Yeah, I have one. Brad. You probably listen to this.
A mystery.
A mystery. I freaking love it. Yo, guys, we're gonna wrap up the podcast. For those of you that don't know how to reach Xtina, you can check out our website, xmhbeauty.com. Do you have a consulting website as well, like where they can go ahead and fill out something with
Let
you?
her
Maybe
share it, dude. Like, let her share her mojo. Where can people find you?
Yeah, for sure.
So it depends if they really want to talk to me or my team. If you have any type of business questions, whether it has to do with the cosmetic side, your personal image, getting more visible online, or you want to know more about our consulting services and our business coaching, you can reach us on Facebook. Our business page is XMH Beauty. It's monitored every single day, and our girls will send you in the correct direction. And if you actually want to talk to me, feel free to add me on Facebook at Xtina Harmsworth.
Awesome, and she also has her Instagram, XMH Beauty Official.
Yes.
All right, guys, make sure you tune into her content. She is one of the strongest women I've met, among others, in the elite community. So, and I appreciate you coming on this this podcast as well. And even if we're not on a podcast, I still like to jam at a later point. I know you wanted to talk about emotional intelligence at some point, so we can do that.
I think we covered it. I just wanted you to love your mama.
Yeah.
I did, because I am a mom, and I'm like, if my kid ever thinks that they are so high level that they cannot talk to me, I'm going to kill her. No, but it's a weird space because, like, we are different. Like,
right.
We are energetically dwarfing our parents. That is our lot in life. It is what it is with this generation. So you just have to
I'm gonna hit the outro real quick. Is that cool?
Go for it.
Guys, I appreciate everybody taking the time out to watch the Marketing Warriors podcast. We just had Xtina on. She was on fire, man. For those of you that did like this, make sure you share it with somebody that you think is going to help them out. If you want to reach her, she's already given you all the information necessary to do so. So reach out. And for my women out there, she's probably the go-to person for you. That's it from the crew over here. Myself, the host, Sibakari, and Panan, my co-host. I'm going to see you guys next time on our next podcast, man. Thank you guys for joining us.
That was so fun.